Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Let me share that thing and jump it to our Facebook. Awesome. I actually got a new live stream software. It's kind of cool. But I won't share that with you right now. But it's cool. Like it's just cool. Perception hackers. Okay. And this will be new hiring. New employee hiring. Operation. Okay. Hey, there we go. Let's post to Perception Hackers. Join us. And then I'm going to share this thing. I know I'm live and people can probably see it, but that's okay. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to join us in meeting room. Okay. What the heck? I'm live and this is not working right. So I'm just going to say new hire operation. There we go. Maybe a little bit different. Cool. I think that should be working. Yep, should be working here. There. Cool. So if anybody is joining us right now, what we're doing is we are going over a new hire operations. Currently, we're with one of our new hires, and we're just going through the process. So we had a process, it's automated, but it's not that effective. So right now I'm with Joshua, and Joshua, we're going to go through this onboarding process based on your experiences and kind of building out the sequence. Does that work for you?
No problem at all.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to jump out what we currently have, and then anyone who wants to join us, there's a link in the chat. You can join us live if you want. You can give some feedback on there. It's posted in the Perception Hackers group as well, so you can jump in. So, but currently what we're starting with is we're starting with the application process. So application process, then we're going to the job selection, so the employee. So think of it as you have this future employee. Okay. Future employees coming through, they're applying for the job. They're coming from like your job board or multiple other places. They put in their application. From that application, of course, this should go into your data processor. Let's do that. So it's backed up. From there, they're going to select the different job, and then they're going to come in for an interview. Okay. From that interview, make sure all that data is going that way. From that interview, they're going to either be hired or not. So we're coming through this point as he's hired since he was hired. We are coming through the point as the onboarding, what the onboarding needs to happen and what wasn't there. Within this specific process, the onboarding, we didn't have a true orientation. It was just a little meeting that we did to kind of explain everything. We had some trainings that we threw somebody in, but now we're structuring out the true path in a sense of that employee. If the employee has a specific job title like SOP, like let's say it is in Joshua's case, it's social media management. Okay. If it's social media management, they need to come in, they need to understand what the position is, what the time is, what the hours are, what the amount of money that they're making, what's the responsibility of the place, and then they need to go through proper registration in order to get paid. Okay, so this would be registration. They would have, so the idea is onboarding, orientation, they see everything from their registration. They have that specific position. So registration for that specific position. We can dynamic that within our data processor. From there, we're having to send information to HR, so that way the documentation is done correctly on HR, the payroll, everything is set up. Some people use the software for this, so we'd have to set that up. The next thing is the software accesses that they would need. So how we're doing this is we're doing this in Portal. So those people that are already members of us and that have Portal, this will be accessible to you, where we can create a company specific portal, and within that company specific portal, again, we can have a unique position access within the dashboard. So now they can have access to all the different softwares as well. Okay. So if you already have Portal, the same thing will happen. If you don't have Portal, you can get Portal. It's free, basically. You just sign up and you can get it. And then if we need to custom build a access for you, your employees, your clients, whatever that is, we can do that. Okay. That being said, data would come in, give access to all of the different softwares, but their point of entry is the dashboard. So it would look something maybe like this. So now they would come through and they would have their dashboard. They need a specific dashboard with accesses to specific things. Okay. Jumping in, let's jump in there. From that piece right there, yeah, they get documentation, they have software access, they need access to their trainings. They need a position-specific training. They would need general knowledge of everything that's going on here. And then the code of conducts, if you're building out the corporation, that's kind of what we would need. And then they would need a path. So how the path works is when these things are triggered, this would be what the person's seeing. So the idea is Joshua would come through, he would get an orientation. From orientation, he would register. From the registration, he would have a meeting with his team lead. So he'd be assigned to a specific team. Then he would have a meeting with that specific team lead, and then he would go through training. This team lead's job, so let's say this is the first tier of the team lead. Let's jump in. Team lead. The team lead's job right here is to successfully take this person through these steps. So successfully take this person from here down through the first stage, in a sense, of training. Okay, so now this training variable could be 1 week or a 2 week. If you have a 3-week program, then it's a 3-week program. If you have more, then it's more. Okay, so however you, as a person watching this, as a perception hacker watching this, you could, in a sense, customize this to whatever variable you want. In this case, let me ask you, Joshua, what do you think would be sufficient for training?
I think interactions with each group would be great too.
Okay. What about time frame? How much time do you think that you would need for training?
What do you mean each day?
Just week wise. So think of it as like a 1 day, a 2 day, a 3 day, a week day. Like how long do you think you'd need before you're confident enough to actively pursue?
Maybe maximum 1 week
1 week.
together.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay. 1 week. So
also evaluation included. Mhm.
yeah. So what I would do is I would do it like this. Okay. So you'd have a 1 week, right? 1 week to the very end, right? Gives enough time, and then at the very end you have the eval, right? So you need the intro eval to make sure that the system was done, right? So we would have this one. This one is introductions, intros. This one can re-go over any of the trainings, the code of conducts, and everything within kind of that first day. That'd probably be the best. And then probably a week, and then we would have the evaluations. Right. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
So day 1, and then in between, and then the end day. So let's just say it's a Monday through Friday. This would be your Friday, right? Because you like to have fun, right? You don't want to work 24/7. Let's say this one is your Monday. Okay. So this one's your Monday, gets over everything from all of the information needed, as well as the software, starting to go through the software, and then it would start heavy on responsibilities. So this one would be for responsibilities. I can't spell, but that's okay. Let's switch to responsibilities. Okay, so this one would be and I'll just put Tuesday through Thursday, right? Tuesday through Thursday. And my baby crying in the background, poor guy. Maybe we'll have him come join us. But we would in a sense bring somebody through this side, right? So now this is that first stage of training. So let's say this one is week 1. Okay, week 1. So week 1, that's your progress. So let's say this training happened right to here. Okay, and then we would have our evaluation. So our evaluation would then end up happening. And the evaluation is based on keeping that person. So it's a templated evaluation that then comes back to the data processor. Evaluation would be, think of it as a form. Okay. Now, let's say it's starting of 2 weeks. Now, action, right? So this would be your action week. So you would start it with the morning meeting. Let's just say that. Morning meeting. Okay, and then you would have an action week. So and then you'd probably do a meeting every day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then you'd have an action. There you go. So you'd probably have a meeting every day to get you up past to the 3rd week. And then in week 3, do you think you're effective?
Yeah.
Okay.
With proper guidance.
So let me do that. So that's where the week ends. And this is where, okay, so now we're at week 2. Week 2 ends at this point, okay. Alrighty, and then week 3, what do you think week 3 should be? So just do it like this. These are your meetings. Meetings, meetings. This is your week. And you do a meeting every little bit. So let's say that's your start. Meeting there. Meeting there. Okay. And then what else? If you were an employee, what would you like? Joshua?
I'm thinking, what else? Those meetings were the team calls, right?
So these ones are just kind of get you, so it's the kind of the, it'll probably be structured like 3 concepts. So each meeting would probably be structured like this. So it would be clarity. So that way you have something that's clear, clears your mind, something for creativity, and then something for motivation. So clarity, creativity, and then motivation. So that way you can think what you're going to do. You can first you can think, you clear your mind so you can think. Second, you become creative. So you start being like on the creative side. And then third, you say you get that energy behind it, that push that says, hey, let's go, right, for the day.
Okay, got it.
Good, right? So these are mornings, meetings, All righty. And then probably the best thing to do would be you have your morning meeting for those. And then during the same time, you're going to have your, it'll be not the same time, but it'll be later. You have your review meetings of how was the day, how was the experience, how was the feedback. And then all of that information gets passed in. So this way the system's ever growing to feedback. So that way it's always getting better. And if you're just joining me too, so this exact system would work for a very massive hiring. So if you're a corporation and let's say you're massively hiring like 1,000 people, 1,000 employees, right? That's a lot. This is in a sense a system that would work for you. Okay. If you're not doing that, it's okay, right? That's totally fine. But this is like that system that in a sense would work for you if you're at that massive level. If you're thinking about creating a large corporation, this is just a building block. You don't have to create it now, but it's a building block to help you for the future. So, okay. Does that basically cover it? So this would be your morning meetings. This would be your end meeting. Would that be helpful?
That would be helpful. The
Okay.
meetings.
Morning, and this would be end shift. End shift. Okay. Cool. And now this would push you into the start of week 3. Okay. Week 3, you should be independent by that time, right?
Yep, I guess.
So let's say this is, exit that one. So this one is Independence Week. Okay. Independence Week. Okay, so this makes it so you're independent. And this gives you enough information to be independent, right? And then you have the Education Week. Education Week you're going to hate. You ready for this? Let me know if this would be beneficial or dreadful. Ready?
All right.
Okay. So let's say this is, we do this week till 5. I think this will work for every single business in the world, maybe? What do you think? Maybe? Okay.
Yeah, so far so good.
So far
Actually,
so good. Let's go into this one and we'll just call this one Education Week. Okay, and then what Education Week will be all about is teaching. So now, in a sense, what you've learned, you'll be teaching.
that's not bad at all. Actually,
So now it's anything from the systems. So they would have a specific process. I don't know that process yet, but you would spend this week teaching. So this entire week would be dedicated to preparing you to teach. So preparing you, so the first one would be as you're doing your independent work, get a task, and that task would be presentation prep. So that way you know what the presentation's about. Then you would probably, here, let me actually just do it like this. Is this terrible so far? What do you think?
it's fine, I guess. But
It's fine, you guess. The idea is to make it so like the you are growing as a human, not just I'm there to do a
yeah.
task. You're ever
Mhm.
growing as a human. That's the goal. Okay, so preparation week would be here. It would be like this. Presentation creation, and then this would be presentation. Okay. So you would go over presentation prep, and this would be in a webinar style. Webinar style. You would go into presentation creation. So you'd create your presentation, and then you would go to teach it. And then as a business, what you would be doing with this specific one is you'd be storing this data for future courses, marketing. And then all of this data would jump up here, of course, into your data processor. So let's bring that back down. Okay, and let's make sure that, and the reason for that is so you have content that's ever growing. This content can be used on everything, as educations, as the universities, as kind of everything to grow. Cool. What do you think about that?
For me, I think 5 weeks is kind of fast.
5 weeks is kind of fast. Well, guess what? It's perfect. That's what we want.
Okay.
Do you know why? If you're not pushing it to the limits, you're not pushing it to the limits.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So let's say your presentation sucks. Let's just say it sucks. It's the most god awful thing in the absolute world. It is terrible,
Mm-hmm.
terrible, terrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did it teach you?
Well, teach you to be better, I guess.
Taught you to lead. Taught you to be better, but it taught you to lead. So now you led because you're leading people. Taught you to be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's just say that's the place while working. You think that can be done?
Yeah, it could be that. It's possible, actually.
Cool. And then the next place is now that you've taught, you use that content for new customers, new customer acquisition. And the reason for this is so everybody, so now I'm speaking to the business owners, if any business owners are listening. So this way, every single one of your employees are helping you sell. Every single one of your employees are helping you grow and gaining new clients, new customer acquisitions. That's what this next week is for, right? It's also for them to see and learn how to gain new customers. So your main goal is to build the process, take them through the process, and you focus on culture and spoiling these people. If you do, they grow you. If you don't, they grow them, right? So if you can grow both of you, that's the win. So what do you think about that? Is that cool?
Sounds amazing.
Okay, and then based on this new customer acquisition, guess what it does for you? It gives raises, increases revenue. So creates opportunity. So like a lot of these businesses, they have referral programs, right? But they don't
Mm-hmm.
give their employees part of that referral program because they think that they're paid and they should do because they're paid. Sucks, right? You
Yeah.
can't grow. Remember that conversation we
And
had? You
yeah.
can't grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now if you do that, what happens? You're making more money. If you're making more money from me, what am I going to do?
Pull
I'm going
you
to
up.
share it.
To,
Yeah,
share it.
I'm gonna give it back to you. So, and this part picks somebody through, let's see, This is the week 1 starts with week 2. I skipped this, didn't I? Let me see. This is week 1. Week 1 ends. This is week 2. Week 2 ends. This is week 3. Week 3 ends. This is week 4. There we go. That way we got these better. This is week 4. Week 4 ends. At week 5 is when you're focusing on new customer acquisition. And you've learned enough about the business to run your branch and your department. And if you're creating customers, which is creating you opportunity and allowing you to grow, you become kind of your own business owner within their entity. So what are you going to do? You're going to keep growing, right?
Yeah, you're gonna keep growing.
There you go. And then this whole same process is also its own course. Kind of cool. Okay, this guy right here would then connect to one system and then the payroll system. So this would connect to an affiliate system. Affiliate dash payout. So that way you can grow yours. And now you become almost like an hourly plus commission. And if I could grow you, like let's say I can have it where you're making a ton of money, would you want to continue to work for me or work with me? What do you think, Josh? What do you think?
It sounds great, actually. Mhm.
Okay. So,
For people who wants to grow, yeah.
yep. So people that want to progress in their place, right? Okay, cool. And then after this part, so let's say that's the process, and then it's just it's kind of the check-in, right? The check-in is it becomes in a sense this plus work every week or every week from then on. Then you do 6, 6. Then it's you trying to build 7, 8. There's your 2 months, right? 6, 7, 7, and then 8. That should be it. But it should be like this. New customer acquisition, and then this one should be education week. And it follows the same concept of education week. Same concept of education week. Same exact one. And then new customer acquisition, and then education week. Okay. Education week. Okay, perfect. And then you have your 2-month performance review. So now here's your performance review. Perfect. And then repeat, another performance review, repeat, another performance review all the way down. Would that get boring at all, or would that be, how do you think about that? Do you like that process?
Yeah, I think that works.
Okay. And then the next process is to hire another team. So then this next piece would be after performance would be ongoing training. So ongoing training. And then the ongoing training would be based off of kind of 3 steps. And it would be getting more people. So then you're still managing your clients, but then it would be getting more users to come in. And in this part, you would be teaching them how to become an independent social media person, just like you became independent. And then as we're scaling, right, we have enough clients to cover the salaries of people to get them started. So then we get maybe a salary of getting these people started, and then we keep on scaling and scaling and scaling. So that way this branch would scale us. So ongoing training, there would be a training, and then there'd be an action week. I think it would just follow the same. Let me just follow the same really quick. Registration. This would be the training. Okay. And it would just copy into this, copy V. And then this would put you into a manager status, which now gives you paid more performance. This would be a manager meeting. So now it's time for your manager piece. You would get training access to, you'd add another access. So it'd be another, again, position specific. And then from that point, you now are, as you're growing your content and managing your clients, your clientele, you've gained enough clientele through this process because your new acquisition, you have enough people under your base to now become a manager and start hiring people. So then you would have your training for hiring. You would have your morning meetings, right? Clarity, we can do the same thing, creative, motivation. Same things for review to get your reviews back. You're now even stronger in the process. Independent work, this independent work would then recruit more, let's say, position specific people. And there'd be a budget now of how to do it, like how to throw events, how to do XYZ, right? So the work would be like putting events together, etc. And then this cycle would then bring back up to this guy right here. And let me bring that out. And that would create a positive feedback loop. And that positive feedback loop would grow that business, that specific department to unlimited scales. So now it can be a huge corporation that supports everything. Then you do your performance review, right? And then once your performance review does, then you follow the mentorship piece, making sure that the person is building proper mentorship as their leaders. Now they've became a manager, they're hiring their own people. From there, they become a massive manager. And once they become that, that would be the third phase. Third phase. Where's it at? Right here. Third phase. If you notice, I like doing cycles of 3. Is that too complex for you now?
No,
Makes sense though?
Okay.
Okay.
It makes sense.
And then you would have your director position. And you can have, this would now be a director position or director meeting. And you would end up becoming a director, position specific, and you would build out your operations, your organizations the exact same way. The leaders within that side would train you. Independent side, you would create more leaders. And you would, again, create those more leaders through, again, maybe events is the wrong place to have this right here. Maybe this one's just hiring boards. And then if you're here, you'd create events, and events would also connect into your hiring board, and it would also connect into your future employees. Events would also connect into your future employees. And then this way you could staff and have 3,000 plus staff and scale your operation staff financially, structurally, and systematically with everyone else. Cool. Let me just minimize, make sure I have that correctly. You have 2 positive feedback loops, perfect. The sequence is perfect. Then the review, perfect. Courses to be done. These people are now teaching these people, which are teaching these people, which is perfect. And then this would be now at this specific point, this would be your mid-year review. Year review. Cool. Does that cover everything?
Yeah, I think so.
Too complex?
Oh.
What do you think? Go ahead.
You forgot the payrolls.
Payrolls. Okay. Well, on the payrolls, so you have each and every section that helps with payroll. So like create opportunity, right? So let's say you're doing, let me just double check. So this one helps with payroll. And you never have to really, meaning I never have to give you a raise. If this is the case, you give yourself a raise. Does that sound interesting? What do you think about that? Or we give you raises, but you get bonuses. What do you like better?
I think raise.
Raises? Okay. You know what I like better? I like bonuses better. Do you know why?
Yeah, why?
Because a raise, let's say I get a raise, right? Let's say my raise is, I get a $3 an hour raise, let's just say, right? If I get a $3 an hour raise, it accumulates over time, which is perfect, right? But let's just say I get that $3 an hour all in one lump sum. That's why I like it, right? But I think
it would be better if we have
normal.
raise and bonuses together.
I think so. Because people need that to grow. Because at the end of the day, it takes your time, and if it takes your time, you need to get paid for your time. And as it takes your time and you grow, your value becomes more because you're focused. And as you're focused, yeah, your pay should increase on a bonus standpoint based off the performance that you have, as well as a growth standpoint as you're growing within the organization. So,
yeah.
What do you think? Fast way to grow somebody?
Yeah, definitely motivating actually.
So it should make it so you want to push. That's what it should do. So it should make it so it's not just sitting there, because I mean, this is my thought. If you knew that you could, as you progress through the system, you could, as soon as week 5, you could start gaining extra revenue as soon as week 5, or maybe even earlier, right? If you knew you could do that and that revenue could increase, would you push to that week 5?
Yeah, definitely.
You would. And now if you knew that you could increase based off the system just by showing up, not by knowledge, but just by showing up. And you could increase even more by just dedicating more focus by week 8. So now let's say you double your revenue, right? Your hourly revenue is doubled. That's a crazy amount of raises in a short amount of time, right?
Yeah. It is actually, yeah.
So would that encourage you to do all of these things? I think it might. And then by the time that you get into these
Definitely.
sides, maybe you're burned out. I've been working so much, you're burned out. Maybe not, but maybe 2 months, right? Worth of something, maybe it gets you to burn out. Now let's say it transitions. There's a transitional point to like a manager standpoint where you're like, well, I can get other people to do it now. I just went through, I know the pain, good gosh, right? Crazy pain. I know it. Well, now I can have somebody else do it and I
Yeah.
can help somebody else through it, right?
Yeah.
So that should motivate you to kind of relax, right? So this would be kind of relax and to start growing your team. And then it will slowly build your confidence. And then by this piece right here, your confidence should be at an all-time high. And this is where your confidence is at a peak. And being a director, you want the highest confidence levels you can. So now you have the highest confidence levels of that individual coming in. And during the path, if it's too hard, what are you going to do? You're probably going to drop off, right? That's what I would think you'd do. Like you would drop, yeah, you would drop off and you'd be like, oh my gosh, that's too hard, right? Or you would say, no, right? And here's the sequence evaluation form. If you suck, just bring that evaluation form back in. So now it's like, if you suck at this, push you back to the start and redo it. As if you're taking like grade school again. Remember grade school? And if you failed, you would have to like retake the
Yeah.
class, right? And it's like, I have to retake it, right?
Yeah.
So that same concept is here. I should have a review here actually. 1 month, end of 1 month. I need to have a, yes, so let me adjust this. I need to have a review. Where am I at? Geez, okay, here we go. Okay. Here, I'll just do this actually. Okay, performance review. So after you present, then there's a performance review based off your presentation. And then you start into new training. So new customer acquisition, it should be new training. Where's my new training at? I'm just going to put it right here. So new customer acquisition would be here. This would be your training of how to do it. Training. Okay. And then you would go through, I have it right here. Education week. This doesn't make sense. Sorry, let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to redo that. Just one section I'm gonna have to delete because this should be, I just named it wrong. Presentation week. This should be education week. Right here should be education week. This should be new customer acquisition. So action week. Then we have presentation week. Yep, there we go. Presentation week. Perfect. Performance review. And then the week 1 should be education. This is the trainings, not the courses. So I'll restructure that, but that should be presentation, education, new customer acquisition, or action week. So action week, and then presentation week, education week, performance review, and so on and so forth. Cool. Does that help you at all? I know it helped us a bit.
Yeah.
With this system in place, would that help you? Would that help you grow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next, just as an overview, your dashboard. Okay. So this is your dashboard right now. How would you want it? So do you want it just for, so let's say you're doing social media specifically. Do you only want it for the social media softwares?
Is there anything else though
Is there anything else for what? Sorry.
aside the social media?
So your department, so your title, in a sense, you're going as a social media manager, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you're a social media manager, then the only thing that you would probably need is the social media software. But
All
maybe
right.
what you're saying is good. Maybe there's more accesses. Maybe here's social media, right? Like
Yeah. That's. Mm-hmm.
your task, and then social media. Maybe there's a tab that opens up all of the softwares, so you can access all of them if you need. And then you have social media. Is that what you're thinking, or what are you thinking?
Yeah. Something like that. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Like
so
softwares.
okay, let's take a picture really quick. Okay, so if we were to circle, what would be the most effective dashboard that you would want? So first, coming from the top down, so we can deal with the navigation in a moment. Coming from the top down, is it good to see like this? Is it good to see like announcements? Is it good to see what's the best to see?
I think announcements and then the list of uh, profiles of the what you call this.
Okay, so announcements. So you can click on announcements first, boom, and there's like general announcements, right? And then you could pick
Yeah.
on, okay,
For like when you start your day, you see what's happening. Something.
okay. Is there anything at the top that you would want?
If we can add maybe a quick access to the softwares and
Okay, here's your
the
quick access.
oh, there. Well, okay.
So we have, so right now we have, this is the project. So this is all the projects that you would see at hand for each client that you would see at hand. So if you're doing social media, you would see that all the ones that you're assigned to would pop up here. You could click in there and you could see exactly the task and where you're at on that task. That's the first thing. The second thing is here's accesses that we have all of the softwares right now. Okay. I was thinking about adding a section right here. So a section right here that has like your time clock. So you say click the time
Yeah, we
clock.
could also add the time clock. Just
Yeah, I was thinking that, but there are a few other points that can happen too. So like a few other points can be, I mean, we could add it up here. We could add it in like your notes or notifications. We can add it in, like say, let's say these are your notifications here. So I don't know why these are still here. Mark as unread, mark as read. Okay. But your notifications are all here, right? So you can see them all. Um, you could technically come up here and you could say new timer, right? And you could say what the timer is for. your hourly rate, you're counting. So let's say your hourly rate you put in, then you would say hourly, and you could say assign timer. Right, you can assign timer to yourself or for a specific project. So we have that, but is that effective? Does that make sense? Or is there a more effective way of doing it?
Where was that? I didn't saw where that
This is
came
in the
from.
plus. So if you go plus,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, there's the timer.
Yep, so you can say like work request plus. I don't know what that is actually. But yeah, there's a plus there, and you can say work request. You can't do this, but depending on your accessibility, then you could add a new staff member or add whatever it is. You could check like, again, your tasks is a different one, but this is basically your tasks in here. Anything else you'd want? Like, would you want like something up on the top, like with today's date on it to help, or what would be the best for the easiest access so you have everything where you need it?
I think something like the pin bars or taskbars. But we already have it here on the left
Okay.
side.
Okay. Well, think of it. So I'm gonna let you go. But if you would, kind of some homework is think about that. Think about what's running based off the trainings and stuff that you're getting. What type of stuff would you want at the dashboard? Right, and like
All right, I'll
meeting
think about
room's
it.
good. Yeah, so just let me know, okay?
Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. All right, we'll see you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Cam.
Yep, thank you so
Have a great
much.
day.
You too. Have a great weekend. We'll see ya.